Okay, this video is going to be about bias. Conservative versus liberal bias. And I'm not talking about the bias one has and the other doesn't. I'm talking about them being biased against each other and that being the only point of why some people post anything. There was a news story a while back I didn't know about. I didn't hear about it. But it's the Business Insider website had one of the reporters wanted to see what would happen if they went to Walmart or tried to go to a Walmart and buy a gun. Because, of course, there's also a video of somebody walking in and easily getting a gun. And then the story, the page, tells you all the crap you may not know about at the time buying a gun at Walmart. In fact, it also included things like them stopping sales of handguns a long time ago and not selling semi-automatic rifles or AR-15s or whatever as well. And it being basically a good place to buy ammunition. That's about it. And if you go to the plumbing department, you can basically build whatever you want to, but that's another story and a whole other channel. Well, no, actually, it'll be on the same channel. But anyway, this is the criticism that the conservative gun rights activists that are so obsessed with a specific amendment in the Constitution, it seems. Let's talk about how a libtard found out how hard it is to get a gun and not about the following characteristics. We're going to talk about the scientific method. I'm going to come up with a premise that it is easy to buy a used bicycle, take it apart, clean it, find out what parts are bad, go buy replacement parts, put the bike together, and make a working bike for less than it would cost to buy a cheap bike at Walmart. First we buy a bike at Walmart, get the cheapest one we can, and we find out how many Walmarts have bicycles. Then you find out most of the people don't know whether or not they have bicycles. Most employees there are minimum wage slaves that don't actually care what they have in stock. They just tell you go look around, and all they're going to do is ring up stuff. Other Walmarts have really good service and know what they're talking about. Some of them are in states that require that the bicycles be sold to a particular standard. Okay, then we look at all the used bicycle shops and find out that they may have higher or lower standards. And a bicycle repair shop will have a junk bin out back and say, you can use the parts if you want, but if they're out there, there's a reason, because we resell any part that's usable. Please, the only thing out there that you might want to use is a frame, because a frame is reasonably easy to upgrade. But you're going to have parts you can't get off because they're seized, so you're going to have to take a hacksaw to them. They're not worth our time, but the frame is the only part we know that might work. That's actually something that happened in Southwest to me. I went outside, it literally was a junk heap. It was a metal scrap pile. But off to the side was all of the Walmart frames that they were not willing to rebuild. But two types of frames were standardized. Now, why am I bringing this up? All you AR-15 owners know exactly why I'm saying this. You can get second-hand and third-party parts to put on an AR-15 frame, and you can also buy all of the parts to make an AR-15, including an 80% lower, and build it yourself. But is it going to be standardized enough that you can interchange parts? The bicycle I have right now is made out of a steel frame, and all the other parts are from literally Walmart bicycles, except for the two wheels, because they broke, so I got real wheels. Well, no, I got the cheap wheels. Now, what rules and regulations? Some cities require that if you sell a bicycle as new, it has to have the reflectors and it has to have the lawyer lips to keep the wheel on and all that kind of stuff. Every one of you who's a bicyclist knows exactly what I just said. The rest of you have no clue what I'm talking about. So you go out and test this, like this reporter. A person who's ignorant of a subject comes up with a hypothesis. Going to Walmart, how I'm pretty sure it's easy to get a gun. This is the assumption all the conservatives are making. This reporter found out how absolutely obnoxiously difficult it is to buy a gun in that particular state, simply because they have to follow the same rules everybody else does. So she changed her attitude towards the Second Amendment and towards gun ownership and how easy it is to get a gun, and said, no, it's not Walmart or any place else that's legitimately selling guns, especially big box stores. They're not doing anything wrong. They're following our laws. And also gun shops have to follow the laws, or it's federal time. If it's a Walmart, you can still get in a lot of trouble. But if you're a gun shop, your only job is not to break the damn law when it comes to being an FFL and following state and local laws and the freaking federal government and every other idiot that wants to make a damn rule. And God help you if you're shipping to California, you might just give up. So, this newly minted red-pilled liberal is getting criticized for learning she was wrong and admitting it? And this isn't a sign of asshattery on the part of every person out there. I don't care if you're a conservative or not. Not every Second Amendment advocate is a fucking conservative. Some of us are liberals. Some of us are hackers. Some of us actually learned how to make guns. And I'm doing a video series where I tell people, I don't know everything, but this is what I've learned so far, and this is what I've learned this week. I learned some new stuff about black powder versus smokeless powder, and why the parameters are so crystal clear, dangerous. When you're building a real gun using modern ammunition, you better use standards that are already in place, because that way you don't have to reinvent a wheel that might blow up in your face. You learn you're wrong and acknowledge it, or you die from it. So this Business Insider reporter honestly said, I thought it was one way, I found out I'm wrong, this is the result. And everyone's like, well, this is them trying to take our guns from us. Really, your obsession with gun confiscation overrides the fact that you just found out there's now yet another liberal that actually understands what the fuck they're talking about. And your complaint is about ignorant politicians who don't know what they're doing, but you shit on them anyway when they admit they're wrong, and they find out that they've been wrong their entire life. And you shit on them when they tell everybody the correct answers. Every conservative out there that's a gun owner needs to shit on every YouTuber and every website that criticizes someone learning their lesson. It may not, I don't give a damn if the liberal, supposedly, I'd like to add that, supposedly liberal reporter, journalist, had an attitude problem even afterwards of not liking guns. That person was honest publicly and acknowledged that she was wrong. Is that what you really hate? Do you smell blood in the water when someone acknowledges they were wrong and now they're not anymore? Is that how you think about things? Because if that is your fucked up, twisted universe that you live in, you're a stereotypical, what we call an internet conservative. All the conservatives I know are rather smart people because they don't have a choice. They want to live and die by their principles. And their principles involve self-reliance. And if they can't do it, they acknowledge it. I can't do it. I know one guy who very begrudgingly requested help at the age of 70 for medical work. Because he needed to. And he's like, I feel like a communist. I'm like, no, it's capitalist. Well, no, it's only half-assed capitalist. If it was capitalist, you could choose your doctor based on how expensive they are, and you're not allowed to do that. No, because it's a monopoly system. They won't tell you how much they're going to charge to pull out an appendix, or in my case, deal with a hernia that's been bothering me for 20 years because it's a mechanical one from yet another impact. That was the Mack truck, I think. I don't know which one it was. I really, really, really have a bad life sometimes. So the point I'm making here is, if you don't acknowledge you're wrong and admit it, and most importantly, if you're not proud of the fact that you're not as dumb today as you were yesterday, if you see that as a weakness in other people, you're a fucktard. Not a libtard, not a conservative fuck. You're a fucktard. And you should be called that until you stop doing it. I'm sorry, but they're not conservatives, they're not liberals. These are anti-learning assholes. I'm getting fed up with this. 90% of growth as a human being is acknowledging that you're wrong and then not being wrong anymore. You're only wrong as long as it takes you to fucking stop lying about being wrong. I'm sorry, we have a jackass in office yet again. Pick which president. In this case, he's one of them who is absolutely loved by people who never admit when they're wrong and constantly repeat incorrect information and spread it like a fucking venereal disease. And you assholes look up to this fuck. I don't like Donald Trump specifically because of that reason. Honestly, the rest of it, what he does, I don't give a shit about. He's just another blowhard politician. I'm infuriated by him because he wants to be infuriating, because he knows he can fucking annoy people by being an asshole like that. The worst kind. A lying or just simply wrong asshole who can't adapt and grow. Most of us think of him as being, well, not a grown-up. But, to be blunt, I'd rather deal with Donald Trump than some asshole criticizing somebody for learning something. I don't care about the tone of her article. I don't care about her biases. All I see is another person who's just a little less stupid. And all I see from the rest of you is not helping that stay happening. You're the uphill battle I've got. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Good luck with that. And Tell anybody who does this. There are lots of liberals doing the same thing, that they're wrong, and tell them to shut up for me, please. Aim them at this video if you like. Bye.